Through this video we are going to start with alkenes. The alkenes having lesser number of hydrogen as compared to alkanes. They belong to unsaturated class of hydrocarbon having at least one carbon-carbon double bond. The general formula of alkene, that is CnH2n, where N, that is the total number of the carbon atom. It is interesting to recall that cycloalkanes also having the same formula CnH2n, so that alkenes are isomeric with cycloalkanes. If we can compare the reactivity of alkene with alkanes, then they are quite chemically reactive as comparison to alkanes, and mostly they prefer the addition reaction. The addition of chlorine to ethene form the product with formula C2H4Cl2. Since this product is oily liquid, so that ethylene was also termed as olefant gas. Thus, this series begin with ethylene and they are preferred as olefine by the earliest chemist. So these are the few characteristics of alkenes. Let us consider their examples. First one is the ethene having 2 carbon and 4 hydrogen, and this one is the formula structures. Propenes having 3 carbon and 6 hydrogen, and this one is the structure formula of the propenes. But1ene 4 carbon and 8 hydrogen, and this one is the structure formula. Then but2ene again 4 carbon 8 hydrogen, and this one is the structure formula. The difference between but1ene and but2ene is the position of the carbon-carbon double bond. In case of but1ene, it is in between carbon number 1 and carbon number 2, while in case of but2ene, the carbon-carbon double bond, that is in between carbon number 2 and carbon number 3. Structure of the alkene. The alkene contain at least one carbon-carbon double bond. The doubly bonded carbon atom are in the state of sp2 hybridization, and having remains one p orbital, that is in the unhybridized state, and this unhybridized orbital, it will take part in the pi bond formation. In case of alkene, each carbon that is bonded to 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 carbon atom. The hydrogen atom that is bonded to carbon by 1s orbitals, while the another carbon that is bonded to carbon by 2p orbital. The structure of alkene, that is flat. So let us consider this skeleton. The carbon, each carbon that is bonded to 2 hydrogen with sigma bond, and to another carbon with sigma bond. Here each carbon that will having 1 hybridized orbital and these 2 unhybridized orbital on the respective carbon, that will take part in the pi bond formation by the sidewise overlapping. So there is carbon-carbon double bond between 2 carbon, and it will comprises of 2 bonds. One is sigma bond The strength of this sigma bond, that is equal to 398 kilojoule per mole, and another bond, that is the pi bond. The strength of this bond, that is 284 kilojoule per mole. So it is very much clear from this data, sigma bond that is more stronger as comparison to the pi bond, and this total strength of carbon-carbon double bond, that is equal to 682 kilojoule per mole. If we can compare this data with carbon-carbon single bond, in case of ethane, the value of carbon-carbon single bond, that is 368 kilojoule per mole. So it is very much clear that carbon-carbon double bond, that is much more stronger as comparison to the carbon-carbon single bonds. Now let us consider the structures. The carbon-carbon double bond, it will having bond length that is equal to 134 picometer, and it is lesser as comparison to carbon-carbon single bond in case of ethane, and it is due to the effective small size of the sp2 orbitals. Now the bond length of carbon hydrogen, it is equal to 109 picometer, and it is also smaller as comparison to ethane, that will having 110 picometer, and it is again due to smaller size of sp2 orbital as comparison to sp3 orbital of CH bond of alkane. The bond angle between hydrogen, carbon, hydrogen, it is 117.5 degree, while the bond angle between carbon, hydrogen, it is 121 degrees. The next one is the nomenclature. Alkenes are given the general name olefins. In the IUPAC nomenclature, the individual members are named by replacing the word "ins" . Here, the prefix it will represent the 2 carbon. Pro, it will represent the 3 carbon. Similarly, but, it will represent the 4 carbon. Pent, it will represent the 5 carbon. And the numeric value 1, it will represent the position of the carbon-carbon double bond. Isomerization in alkenes, the first 2 members of alkene, that is ethylene and propylene, do not show structural isomers. But the alkene from onward C4H8 can exhibit chain isomerism as well as position isomerism. To let us consider the various example. So it is the but1-ene, structure number 1, and but2-ene. The but1-ene and but2-ene, these are the position isomers. In this case, the position of carbon double bond, that is between carbon number 1 and 2, and in this case the position of carbon double bond, that is between the carbon number 2 and 3. Now the structure number 3. If we can compare structure number 1 and 3 and structure number 2 and 3, then structure number 1 and 2, they are the chain isomer, while the structure number 3, that is branched isomers. Now the structure number 4 and structure number 5, these are the geometrical isomers. In case of this isomer, both the methyl groups or the same group, they are on the same side, so it is called cis 2-butenes, and in second case the same group, they are on the opposite sides, so it is called trans 2-butenes. Let us consider one more example of pentene. It is the structure number 1 and structure number 2. The difference between structure number 1, that is structure number 2, is the position of carbon-carbon double bond between 1 and 2, and here between carbon number 2 and carbon number 3. So these are the position isomers. Then structure number 3, structure number 4, and structure number 5. Structure number 3, 4, 5, these are the branched isomers. In structure number 3, the position of methyl group, that is on the carbon number 2, and the position of carbon-carbon double bond, that is between carbon number 2 and 3. In structure number 4, the position of methyl group, that is on carbon number 2, and the position of carbon-carbon double bond, that is between carbon number 1 and 2. Here the position of methyl group, that is on the carbon number 3, and the carbon-carbon double bond, that is lying in between carbon number 1 and 2. Now the third one case, it will showing ring chain isomerism. This one is the open chain, and it is the case of the propenes, and now it is the ring isomerism of the propenes, and it is cyclopropanes. General method of preparation of alkenes. The alkene, particularly the lower members, are obtained commercially by the cracking of higher fraction of petroleum, which is followed by the fraction distillations. In addition to it, different laboratory methods are also available for their preparation in a pure form, and most of these methods involve the elimination of appropriate group from the adjacent carbon atom. And these methods are dehydrohalogenation of alkyl halide, dehydration of alcohol, dehalogenation of bisphenol halide, partial reduction of alkynes, and pyrolysis of quaternary ammonium hydroxide. So let us consider the first one, dehydrohalogenation of alkyl halide. This reaction involves the removal of the element hydrogen and halogen from adjacent carbon atom of alkyl halide by treating it with alcoholic solution of potassium hydroxide. So alkene that will get formed. For example, ethyl chloride that is treated with potassium hydroxide, it can lose chloride and one hydrogen from adjacent carbon. Ethylene will get formed along with potassium chloride and water. Similarly, isopropyl iodide treated with potassium hydroxide, it can lose iodide and one hydrogen from adjacent carbon. Propylene will get formed along with potassium hydroxide and water. Let us consider the mechanism of dehydrogenation of alkyl halides. In this case, the base such as hydroxide obtained from alcoholic potash, it can abstract the proton from beta carbon. Beta carbon that is next to the carbon that will holding the halide sign. So this carbon, it is called alpha carbon, and the carbon next to it, that is called beta carbon. So finally, the electron pair of CH bond, it will take part in pi bond formation between carbon and carbon, and the halide ion that is eliminated from it. finally alkene will get formed. The energy required for cleavage of CH bond and CX bond come from the formation of bond between base ion and abstract of H plus ion, and formation of second bond between carbon-carbon atom, and solvation of halide ions. This mechanism is called E2 mechanism, which means bimolecular elimination. And the main feature of this mechanism is that in this case reaction will occur in concerted step, which means the formation of new bond and the breakage of old bond take place simultaneously in the step. It follows the second order kinetic, in which rate of reaction depend upon both the concentration of alkyl halide and base. It is a single step bimolecular elimination reaction. So these are the main feature of E2 mechanism. Then orientation of dehydrohalogenation and ease of formation of alkene, and it is called regiochemistry. During the dehydrohalogenation of higher alkyl halide, the elimination of hydrogen from different carbon atom is possible, and it can lead to the formation of mixture of isomeric alkene. So let us consider the case of dehydrogenation of scandibutyl chloride. In this case, the two products which are possible, the first one, that is the 2-butene, and it is the most stable and formed near about 80%, and second one, that is the 1-butene, and it is less stable and it is formed near about 20%. So question is, why 2-butene that is formed in the larger quantity and 1-butene that is formed in the lesser quantity? So let us consider the Sachs rules. Sachs rule, it gives the generalization to predict the orientation of dehydrohalogenation in order to determine the relative stability and ease of formation of possible alkenes. According to this rule, when an alkyl halide can undergo elimination in two different ways, forming a mixture of two products, the preferred product is alkene which are more highly alkylated at double bond carbon atoms. Next is the dehydration of alcohol. On heating with sulfuric acid or phosphoric acid, or passing their vapor over heated alumina, the alcohol gets dehydrated to form the alkenes. The exact condition vary with the nature of the alcohol taken. For example, if ethyl alcohol is subjected to dehydration, here in this case we can require 96% sulfuric acid and temperature range, that is 443 Kelvin, and ethylene that will get formed. Similarly, if tertiary butyl alcohol is subjected to dehydration, in this case only 20% of sulfuric acid is required and the temperature range is 355 Kelvin, and 2-methyl propene that will get formed. Mechanism of dehydration of alcohol, it can follow E1 mechanism. E stands for elimination and 1 stands for unimolecular. So it is unimolecular elimination mechanism having 3 steps. The step number 1, that is the protonation of alcohol, and it is carried by proton from the acids. And this one is the first step. So finally this protonated alcohol, it will get formed. in step number 2. In step number 2, this protonated alcohol, it can finally lose 1 mole of water with the formation of carbocations, and it is slow step, so rate determinant step in case of dehydration of alcohol. Then step number 3. In step number 3, the carbocations, it can lose 1 proton from the adjacent carbon which is next to the carbon carrying the positive charge, and the bond pair of carbon and hydrogen, it will take part in the pi bond formation. So finally the ethylene will get formed, and it is again the first step. All the 3 steps shown above involve reversible equilibrium. So let us see the feature of E1 mechanism. It is a 3-step mechanism. It involves the formation of carbocation, that is the rate determining step in hydration. It follows the first order kinetics. The rate of reaction depends upon only the concentration of alcohol. And the last one, all the 3 steps are reversible in equilibrium. However, in this case, the resulting alkene, that is more volatile as comparison to the starting alcohol, so that reaction is easily driven out in the forward directions. So these are the features of the E1 mechanism. Then evidence in sports of this E1 mechanism. The first one, that is the relative ease of dehydration of alcohols. It has been observed that the ease of dehydration of different class of alcohol follow the order. The tertiary alcohol, it will undergo fast dehydration as comparison to secondary alcohol, and dehydration that is slow in case of primary alcohol. It has been justified as in case of rate determination step, that is the step number 2, which involves the formation of carbocations. And it is apparent that greater the stability of carbocation and ease of formation of carbocation, greater is the tendency of alcohol to get changed into carbocation and finally into alkene. So the stability order of carbocation is tertiary carbocation, which is formed from tertiary alcohol. It is highly stable. Then secondary carbon, that is formed from secondary alcohol, and in last primary carbocation, that is formed from primary alcohol. So tertiary alcohol undergo dehydration most readily because they form tertiary carbocation, which is the most stable. Once formed the carbocation rapidly, it will change into alkenes. Similarly, in the case of secondary alcohol, it would be more easily dehydrated than primary alcohol, which would be relatively more difficult to dehydrate. Orientation of dehydration, reducible activity. Many alcohol on dehydration give rise to a mixture of isomeric alkanes, but in this case one of the alkene is formed in a predominantly larger amount. Such a reaction which can yield 2 or more structural isomers, but it actually produces only one isomer as a sole product, or the predominant product is said to be regioselective. Let us consider the case of the dehydration of secondary butyl alcohol. It will take place in the presence of phosphoric acid taken on alumina at 298 Kelvin temperature. It can yield 2 isomers. The first one, that is the 2-butene, and it is more stable, formed in larger quantity, that is 79.9%. And the second isomer, that is the 1-butene, it is less stable and formed near about 24.1%. Both these isomeric butenes are obtained by expulsion of H positive ion from the same carbocation formed as an intermediate during the reactions. So in this case, secondary butyl carbocation that will form. In this case, if H plus ion that is abstracted from this carbon, then 2-butene that will get formed, and if H plus ion that is abstracted from this carbon, then this 1-butene that will get formed. Therefore, the stability of carbocation cannot have any effect on the higher than the expected amount of 2-butene formed, and it may be noted that, however, the 2-butene that is more stable than the 1-butene, since the 2-butene that is more substituted as comparison to the 1-butene, so that 2-butene that will formed in the larger quantity, so it is the main product. Similarly, if the dehydration of 2-methyl-2-butanol is done in the presence of 50% of sulfuric acid and it is reflux at this temperature, then it can lead to the formation of two products. The first one, that is the 2-methyl-2-butene, and it is the main product formed in 87% quantity, and second, that is the 2-methyl-1-butene, and it is the minor product and formed near about 13%. And the region is same here. The 2-methyl-2-butene that is more substituted, having more substitution around the carbon-carbon double bond as comparison to the 2-methyl-1-butene. So in case of this product, substitution is higher, so it will form near about 87%, while the 2-methyl-1-butene that will formed in the least quantity due to the lesser substitutions. Rearrangement of carbocation and formation of the unexpected product. It has been found that during the dehydration of alcohol, in case of higher alkenes, the unexpected product is formed. In this case, the position of double bond formed, or sometimes even the carbon skeleton may be quite unexpected. So let us take the case of the dehydration of N-butyl alcohol. In this case, the expected product, that is the 1-butene, and it formed in a very least quantity, but in addition to this, 2-butene that will formed in the major quantity, and which is the unexpected product. So in this case, the unexpected product that is formed due to the rearrangement of the intermediate carbocation. So let us see how does this rearrangement will take place. In this case, the carbocation that will form, that is the N-butyl carbocation, and it is formed by the loss of OH minus ion from this carbon number 1, and carbon number 1 that can acquire the positive charge. So this n-butyl carbocation, it is basically primary carbocation, and it will undergo 1,2 hydride shift. In this case H minus, it will shift from carbon number 1 to 2, and finally the positive charge that will appear on this carbon. So it is the secondary carbocation, and which one is the most stable as comparison to n-butyl carbocation. And finally the one proton that is loose from this carbon, and the unexpected product, which is the main product 2-butene, will get formed. So the formation of unexpected product in case of dehydration of alcohol is due to either 1,2 hydride shift or even due to 1,2 methyl shift. Next is the dehalogenation of bisphenol dihalide. The bisphenol dihalide, when heated in the presence of zinc in alcoholic solution, they get dehalogenated to form alkenes along with zinc dihalide. The major limitation of this reaction is that the bisphenol dihalide used in this reaction are themselves usually obtained by the addition of halogen to alkenes. For example, ethylene dibromide that is heated in the presence of zinc, ethylene will get formed along with zinc bromide, dibromide, that is the side product. So let us consider the mechanism in this case. The dehalogenation is a bimolecular elimination reaction, and it can follow E2 mechanism. So in this case, the bond formation and bond breakage that will occur in the concerted step. So in this case, there is a formation of bond between zinc and this halide, and this bond is shifted toward this side. So there is a bond formation between zinc and halides. The partial double bond that will appear between carbon and carbon. So this one is the transition state. In this case, the partial bond is formed between zinc and halide, and this bond is partially broken, and this bond is partially broken, and finally it can lead to the formation of alkenes along with zinc halides. Next is partial reduction of alkynes. Alkene can be prepared by partial reduction of alkynes, and partial reduction it is carried by special catalyst, in this case palladium, that is coated on calcium carbonate, and it is partially poisoned by lead acetate, and it is known as Lindlar catalyst. Or nickel bromide catalyst, which is called P2 catalyst. And sodium metal that is dissolved in ammonia, and it is called base reduction. Next is the partial reduction of alkynes. Alkene can be prepared by partial reduction of an alkyne, and it is carried out by the catalyst in which hydrogen will taken in the presence of special catalyst, that is palladium coated over calcium carbonate and partially poisoned by lead acetate, and it is called Lindlar catalyst. And the second one, that is nickel boride catalyst, and it is called P2 catalyst. The partial reduction that is also carried out with the help of sodium or lithium taken in liquid ammonia, and this is known as metal ammonia reduction or Birch reduction. In this case, if we have taken the hydrogen catalyst, then cis isomer is predominant, and if we can take the sodium metal dissolved in ammonia as a catalyst, then trans isomer is the main product. So let us take the partial reduction of 3 hexynes. In first case, it is subjected to partial reduction that will take place at this carbon-carbon triple bond, and here this is 3 hexene that will get formed. And in second case, the metal ammonia solution that is taken for the reduction, again the partial reduction that will take place at carbon-carbon triple bond, and this trans 3 hexene will get formed. So let us consider the mechanism of metal ammonia or Birch reduction. So in first step, this pi bond from carbon-carbon triple bond, it will going to shift toward carbon, and this carbon it will acquire negative charge with 2 electrons, and same time this electron that is added to this carbon from sodium. So this carbon having a single electron. Now one proton from ammonia that is donated to this carbon that will having negative charge, and itself it will change into amide, and this vinylic free radical that will get formed. In the next step, one electron from sodium again that will go with this carbon. Now this carbon having 2 electrons and acquired the negative charge. Again ammonia can lose 1 proton to this carbon, and itself change into amides, and finally this trans product that will get formed. So it is the mechanism of Birch reduction. Next is the pyrolysis of quaternary ammonium hydroxide. It is also called Hofmann elimination. In this case, tetraalkyl ammonium hydroxide that is heated strongly at 400 Kelvin, and it will undergo elimination to form alkenes and trimethylamine, and it is called Hofmann elimination reactions. In this case, the quaternary ammonium hydroxide is obtained by treating amines with excess of methyl iodide, and this process is called exhaustive methylation, which is followed by treatment of intermediate compound with silver oxide, and finally trimethyl and propyl ammonium hydroxide that will get formed. So let us see the mechanism of this reaction. This mechanism involves the removal of proton from beta carbon by the base, so it is the alpha carbon, and this one is the beta carbon, and the proton is removed from beta carbon by the base. The bond pair between carbon and hydrogen, it will take part in the pi bond formation between carbon and carbon, and the bond pair of carbon and nitrogen, it will move toward nitrogen, and finally this bond can break out. Alkene will get formed along with trimethylamine. The mechanism is quite similar to that of dehydrohalogenation of alkyl halide. However, in case of dehydrohalogenation of alkyl halide, where more highly substituted alkene is the major product, but in case of Hofmann elimination, the product formed with least substitution, which is the 1-pentene, is the main product, and the more substituted 2-pentene, that is the minor product. The reason for this, in this case, the abstraction of proton will take place from beta carbon. So there are two beta carbon. This one is the beta carbon and this one is the beta carbon. So the abstraction of proton that will take place from this beta carbon, which lead to the formation of 1-pentene as a major product, and not from this beta carbon. So finally the least substituted product, that is the main product in case of Hofmann elimination.